Hey Buddy Fighters, I'm back. So today we're going to be talking about the real villain of Buddyfight Ace. Just some anime discussion, something really easy for me to create content for. Basically a little discussion video. So I'm going to propose 3 options, and I'm basically going to talk about my points and why that's so. First off, let's talk about the patterns that we have for Buddyfight Ace. Sorry, not for Buddyfight Ace, just for Buddyfight seasons in common. We always have the villains in the back of the posters, and these are usually the official posters that, appear up somewhere when they announce a new season for Buddyfight. Now, as you can see throughout the progressing seasons, we do have the main villain always shown on the poster. So, for example, Season 1, Kyoya. Season 2, Yamigeto Ikazuchi. Season 3, Kyoya again. Buddyfight X, we had Wisdom. And then, of course, All-Star Fight didn't really have a villain. You could technically say Sakate, but we're going to say Buddyfight All-Star Fight didn't have a villain. It was just the ending to the Gao arc, and happy ending for everyone. But basically, if you look at the Buddyfight Ace poster, there's something I want to point out about Ranma. There's something really interesting that he's actually has his back to the view of the poster, and he actually has his back while all the characters are actually facing forward. Now, it's a little weird for him to be pointed out like that, but that is going to be one of the options that I want to talk about. Ranma as the main villain. Now, people have already pointed this out. I've seen people talk about this, or on the comments section as well of Buddyfight Ace episodes. People think that because he's isolated, for example, in this scene from Yuga, like they're best friends, he kind of gets into this area of loneliness where he feels isolated because he doesn't have his own buddy, and all the other characters have their own monsters and decks, and he kind of gets pushed aside, and you can see this development and kind of barrier built between Yuga later on. And there's lots of different topics and themes that the writers could go through. I know Buddyfight season actually having good writing. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways that can go, and I want to point out some other things as well. But I think that's a really interesting detail, that he's the only character in that poster with his back facing the viewer, basically turned around. Anyways, we also have new reveals as well. So basically, someone opened up the Gargantua Awakened set, and within this, they managed to pull a card with a question mark, basically cardless, so it's not part of the main list of the set. And people think this is a preview for the special pack that we're going to be getting later in the fall that is actually going to have the villain cards, which would make sense because usually we get them mid-year for Buddyfight, the main villains and stuff like that, or the villain cards. And also, we do have the character pack, which is basically going to be some more support for your Draw Deity deck and Dragon World Deity Dragon Tribe. But yeah, definitely really interesting to see that this new card right here. So let's quickly go over it. There's definitely different translations, but it's got Demonic Dragon, Destroyer. It has vibes of Azidahaka, but it kind of seems like a Crazy Skull, Dimensional Dragon. There's lots of different translations for it, but we're going to have to wait for official English name. It's got some pretty crazy stats right there, as you can see, 33 and 10, and it's got double attack. So really interesting to see is that we do know this card isn't usable with any flags currently. We don't know how his effects is going to be used. He doesn't even have a type of card. He's not a monster card. As you can see right there, there's no text in the top left corner. But he does look absolutely amazing, and it's a hidden card basically within Gargantua Awakened. And people think this is foreshadowing for the villain cards that we're going to be getting later in the fall. And of course, we also have this really interesting border, and his world is Lost World. Kind of like something of loneliness, and definitely that goes along with Ranma kind of being secluded from everyone else within the kind of group of buddy fighters. Anyway, its effect is, as long as this card is on the field, your opponent can't recover life, so basically can't gain life at all. This card on the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card ability, and Dimensional Gate Prologue, when this card attacks, then a card on your opponent's field into the drop zone double attack, so bypassing destruction and immunity effects. So first off, this thing looks like something from Vanguard and Buddyfight and Bushiroad. It's like, you know what, we need to make a crazy dragon, let's just take elements here, there, and boom, just squash it into that. But yeah, really interesting art. Definitely seems like something really dark, and seeing Buddyfight Ace taking a kind of deeper tone along with like the first season of Buddyfight, definitely something interesting to see, especially with Buddyfight's audience growing older. So yeah, that's something really cool to see. Wanted to point that out. But yeah, as you see in different scenes like now, and through the anime, people speculating Ranma could definitely be secluded and kind of go into that kind of theme where he's kind of lonely, and maybe this buddy reaches out to him, or because he really wants a buddy as well, because he's, he's actually good at the game, unlike all the other characters in Buddyfight Ace. So definitely something really cool to see, and it's definitely speculation coming from a lot of people. Anyways, here's another option. We have Dan Yamada. Now, in his TV Tokyo description in the Japanese website, it is described, and we can already see this within one of the episodes, that he puts a bad spotlight on PalTubers, basically the YouTubers of the Buddyfight world. So basically, there could be lots of conflict that could be created between them, and we kind of already saw that with the Misato episode. But definitely something between the Rangao and his channel. He's kind of like, I don't know, the how do I say this, basically shaming on them or trying to get them down to graze his channel as well. So there could be lots of conflict between that. I don't really see him being a main villain, but he is in the Buddyfight poster, and you have to acknowledge that. So it is possible maybe he could be a semi-villain, maybe have a little arc or something between the rivalry of channels or something like that in the universe. I have no idea. Kind of just speculating here, but I think that he does have potential to be a villain or maybe a small one. And maybe, I don't know, he'd become friends with Yuga, maybe, possibly. But he doesn't have any description of using any decks as far as I know from the Chotokyo description. For example, we know all the other fighters, for example, what's his name? Masato using Ancient, we have Mamoru using Hero World, Mel using Dungeon World, and list goes on and on. We know what all the characters are using pretty much at this point. Except for maybe Dan, but I don't really see Dan being fighting there, or, you know, I don't really see Dan being a buddy fighter within this. I could have missed or forgotten about something on the Chotokyo description, but I highly doubt that he'll be an actual buddy fighter and a main villain of it. But, you know, it's a possibility, and he is in the poster, so he's got to do something. So maybe he could. I mean, he definitely has the demeanor, if you want to call it that, for being a Lost World buddy or something crazy like that. But honestly, I just don't really see it happening personally, but would love to hear your thoughts on that. And of course, a third option, which is really weak, honestly, I don't see this happening at all, is that we don't have a villain revealed yet, and we'll see him as a brand new character leaked later in Korokoro, and he'll just appear in the end of the season, and he'll be using Lost World. And I highly doubt this will happen just because we don't really have any other options within the poster. And yes, it would be a great idea and a great plot twist within the characters themselves and for the season, but I don't really see it happening just because the characters and everything is supposed to already be introduced, and Bushiroad's just trying to get the flow of support and cards coming out. I just don't really see a new character coming out of nowhere, and I think Ranma would work just because there's lots of different themes, and, you know, there's already been quite a good amount of development between Yuga and Ranma, and, you know, their kind of bonds and, I don't know, friendship and kind of, you know, themes in Buddyfight. Obviously, Ranma kind of doesn't have, you know, his parents are really busy and stuff. He's kind of secluded from everyone else within his life. And then Yuga has this legendary father buddy fighter. You know, there's lots of different conflicts and stuff I could see happening from that. So yeah, would love to hear what you think. We still don't have any news on the Buddyfight Caravan. I do have some deck profiles, for example, Disaster and Omni Lord, which I want to get out. I do want to test them, so hopefully we'll get them out next week or see what I'm going to go. But yeah, I'm going to take a break for a bit from YouTube, which I already said. But yeah, I'm going to take it slow, hopefully get out some Ace content, and yeah, really excited for the Ace decks coming out this month. Because I'm in Canada, the Buddyfight caravans take up forever. Like, the Vanguard caravan for me is not until the starter decks have already come out. But yeah, that's enough from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, and yeah.